In the cold silence of deep space, a small exploration ship floated near a dead planet. The world below was covered in endless white, frozen storms, cracked glacier, and silence that could crush a human's heart. Captain Ryan stood by the ship's main window, watching the ghostly surface below. He had seen many planets before, but something about this one felt alive. It was dead, yet waiting. "Captain," said Myra, the science officer, her voice low. "You need to see this." Our scanners picked up something strange under the ice, about 3 kilometers deep. Ryan turned. "What kind of strange?" Myra looked pale. "It's a structure. Not natural. And there's a life signal. Weak, but there." The whole crew froze. Life. On a dead world like this. Impossible. Yet the readings didn't lie. They prepared the drop pod and descended through the thick clouds. The storm outside roared like a wild beast. Ice and lightning clashed against the ship as they landed near the coordinates. When they stepped out, the air was still. Every sound seemed swallowed by the snow. Only the soft hum of their suits broke the silence. "Ground temperature, -180, Myra said, her visor glowing. "Let's move fast." They drilled through the ice for hours, metal machines carving through frozen history. At last, the drill hit something solid, a smooth, crystal-like dome. It shimmered faintly, giving off a soft blue light that pulsed like a heartbeat. Ryan knelt beside it, brushing the frost away. Through the transparent layer, he saw them. A woman. Not human. Her skin was pale silver, her hair like strands of light. She held a small child tightly in her arms, frozen in a moment of eternal protection. The child's face rested against her chest, peaceful, innocent. Myra whispered, "Oh my God," she froze herself. To protect the child. The crew stood speechless. The scanners beeped, one slow, rhythmic sound. Beep, beep. Ryan frowned. "That's a heartbeat." Everyone stared at the screen. The signal was weak, but real. The alien mother's heart was still beating. Somehow, across centuries of ice, she was alive. Suddenly, the lights on their suits flickered. The ground trembled. A deep sound echoed from below, like the planet itself had just taken a breath. "Did anyone feel that?" shouted one of the crew. Ryan steadied himself. "Yes. Keep working. We're not leaving until we know what this is." They set up thermal scanners and tried to melt the outer layer. But the ice resisted every kind of heat, even plasma cutters. It was almost as if the dome wanted to stay closed. Then, something strange began to happen. The temperature around the structure dropped rapidly. Frost crept up their tools, freezing them solid. Myra gasped as her scanner went dark. "Captain, the energy's reversing. It's draining power from us." Ryan turned to the dome and saw the alien woman's eyes glow faintly blue. The glow pulsed like a heartbeat. Once. Twice. Then, the child inside moved slightly. Ryan's breath caught in his throat. "She's waking up." The crew stepped back, fear mixing with wonder. The alien woman's expression was calm but filled with silent strength, like a mother who would fight the universe to protect her child. Myra whispered, "What should we do?" Ryan hesitated. His instinct said to run, but his heart said something else. "We can't leave her here. Not after all she's done to save her child." The storm outside began to grow stronger, lightning flashing across the sky. The planet seemed to react to the energy inside the dome. As they watched, tiny cracks appeared across the ice. Blue light seeped out, spreading through the ground like veins of fire. "Back up!" Ryan shouted. The ground shook violently. One of the crew fell, dropping a sensor that rolled near the dome. The light from the dome suddenly grew brighter, and then everything went silent. No wind. No sound. Just the glow. Then, a faint hum filled the air. It wasn't mechanical. It was musical. Like a soft lullaby. A song no human voice could sing, yet full of warmth and sorrow. Myra's eyes widened. That sound, it's coming from the dome. The lullaby echoed through the frozen caves, soft but haunting. Even through his helmet, Ryan could feel it, a mix of love, grief, and hope. He looked again at the alien mother. A single tear of melting ice slid down her cheek. For a moment, everyone forgot the danger. There was only silence, the song, and the image of a mother's love powerful enough to survive death itself. Then, their radios crackled. A distorted voice whispered through static, a voice that wasn't from any of them. "Protect the child." The words repeated, broken but clear. "Protect the child." Myra froze. "Captain, did you hear that?" Ryan's heart pounded. "Yes. Record everything. We're not leaving until we find out what this means." The scanners started going wild, readings off the charts. Energy waves surged from the dome, connecting to the ground, the air, even their suits. Ryan's visor flickered with symbols, alien markings glowing across his display. Then, just as suddenly, everything shut off. Total darkness. Only the blue light of the dome remained. Ryan took a cautious step forward. "If you can hear me," he said softly, not sure who he was speaking to, "we're not here to hurt you. We want to help." No answer. But the light from the dome pulsed faster, as if responding to his voice. The ground cracked again. The air shimmered with icy mist. And then, in one chilling instant, the mother's frozen hand twitched. Ryan froze in place, unable to breathe. The motion was small, barely noticeable, but it was real. The lullaby faded away. Silence filled the air again. Myra whispered, her voice shaking, "Captain, what do we do now?" Ryan's eyes stayed fixed on the dome. He didn't blink. He didn't speak for several seconds. Then he said quietly, "We wait. She's not done yet." Outside, lightning struck the glacier, lighting up the sky. The blue glow from the dome spread further into the ice, like veins of life returning to a dead world. And in that endless frozen wasteland, under a sky of storms and silence, a single heartbeat continued to echo. Beep, beep. Alive. Waiting. Watching. The mother's sacrifice had kept her and her child frozen in time, but something, or someone, had finally come close enough to wake them. And far above, from the orbiting ship, the sensors detected something the crew below didn't see. The planet's energy was rising, fast. Whatever was sleeping under that ice was starting to wake up. The storm outside had grown worse. Lightning flashed across the frozen horizon, and thunder rolled like the voice of an angry god. Inside the small base camp, Captain Ryan and his crew worked in silence. No one wanted to speak about what they had just seen. The alien mother's frozen hand had moved, and the scanners still showed a faint heartbeat. Myra sat near the monitor, her eyes red from exhaustion. The signal kept flashing on her screen, weak, steady, impossible. "Still alive," she whispered. "After all these centuries, how?" Ryan rubbed his temples. "We don't know yet. But whatever this is, it's not just science. It's something else." Outside, the wind screamed. The sound was almost human, like a cry. Then, suddenly, the radio system crackled to life. Static hissed, and a strange tone filled the air. It wasn't random noise. It was a melody. A soft, haunting tune, like a lullaby. Myra turned slowly. "That's the same sound we heard near the dome." Ryan leaned closer to the speaker. The melody repeated, low and steady, like someone humming through the wind. Then came a voice, broken, distorted, but real. "Protect the child." The words sent a chill through everyone. Ryan looked at Myra. "Did you transmit anything?" She shook her head quickly. "No, sir. The signal is coming from underground." "From the dome?" "Not exactly," she said, studying the data. "It's spreading through the ice, like the whole planet is carrying the message." Ryan stared out the window. "Protect the child." The words echoed in his head. Who was speaking? The mother? The planet itself? Before he could think, the power flickered again. The lights dimmed, and the ship's computer started running strange alien symbols across the screen. None of them had ever seen such writing before, yet Ryan felt he somehow understood it. It read, "Do not break the seal." "Captain," shouted one of the crew. "The system's going crazy. We're losing control of the thermal units." The heaters shut down, and frost began to creep across the walls. The temperature inside the base dropped rapidly. Myra's breath became visible, white clouds in the air. Ryan ordered, "Emergency power, now." But even as they tried to restart the systems, the same soft melody began playing again, from every speaker, every device. "Protect the child." The same phrase, repeated again and again, like a plea from another world. Suddenly, one of the crewmen screamed, "Something's outside." They ran to the observation window. Through the swirling snow, a faint light moved between the shadows, small, glowing blue. It flickered like a flame, but shaped like footsteps. Tiny, glowing footprints appeared in the snow, walking away from the dome. Ryan grabbed his helmet. "Myra, stay here. Track that signal. I'm going after it." Myra protested. "Captain, it's too dangerous. We don't know what's out there." He looked at her. "That's exactly why I have to go." He stepped into the blizzard. The cold bit into his suit instantly, but he kept moving. His flashlight caught the tiny glowing prints leading through the snow. Each step pulsed faintly, like something alive. "Base, this is Ryan," he said through the radio. "I'm following the signal. Do you read me?" Static. Then Myra's voice broke through. "I hear you, Captain. The signal's getting stronger near your position." He followed the trail for almost half a mile, until he reached a ridge. There, between two slabs of ice, he saw it. A small figure, glowing faintly blue, crouched near the rocks. It was a child. The same child they had seen in the dome. Ryan froze. The boy's skin was pale silver, almost transparent. His eyes were large, shimmering with light. He looked frightened, his small hands clutching the ice. "Hey," Ryan said softly, lowering his weapon. "It's okay. You're safe." The child tilted his head, studying him. His voice trembled, quiet but clear. "Where is Mother?" Ryan's heart pounded. She's still there. We're trying to help her." The boy stepped closer. When his fingers touched Ryan's glove, a wave of icy pain shot through the captain's arm. His visor fogged instantly, and his breath froze inside. "Captain, what's happening?" Myra's voice came through the comm. Ryan gasped. "The boy, his body temperature is below 0, but he's alive." The child looked into his eyes. "She's cold. I feel her calling. You woke her." "Who?" "Your mother." The boy nodded. "She's angry, afraid. She thinks you want to take me." Ryan's throat tightened. No. We're trying to save you both." The boy looked down at his hands. Frost was spreading across the ground wherever he stepped. The temperature dropped even further. Then, without warning, the ground trembled. A loud crack echoed through the valley. Ice split open near the dome. A beam of blue light shot into the sky, piercing the clouds. Ryan stumbled back. "Myra, what's happening?" Her panicked voice came through. "The energy spike is massive. It's like the planet's core just reactivated." The child's eyes filled with tears. "She's coming." Ryan turned toward the dome. The cracks on its surface widened. The frozen walls began to shatter like glass. Blue mist poured out, spreading through the air. "Captain, get out of there!" Myra shouted. But Ryan didn't move. He couldn't. He was staring at the dome, where the alien mother's hand pressed against the inside, her eyes glowing brighter than before. The light grew so strong it blinded him. The ground beneath his feet shook violently. The air filled with a low, deep hum, the same sound from the signal, but louder, alive. And then, as suddenly as it began, the light vanished. The dome stood still once more. Silent. Cold. Ryan blinked, trying to see through the fog. The boy was gone. "Myra," he said, his voice shaking. "He's gone." The child disappeared. Static filled his radio. Then, through the static, he heard it again, that same whisper, softer now but unmistakable. "Protect the child." Ryan stood there, alone in the storm, the echo of the alien mother's voice fading into the wind. He didn't know it yet, but something ancient had awakened that night. Something that had waited for centuries for a single human heart, warm enough to melt the ice of space. Snowstorm winds screamed across the frozen planet. Captain Ryan stumbled through the blinding white, searching desperately for the glowing footprints that had vanished minutes ago. His suit sensors blinked red, low temperature warnings, power dropping fast. "Myra, do you read me?" he called through the comms. Only static answered. He turned toward the direction of the dome, now cracked and half buried under new layers of snow. The light that had exploded moments earlier was gone, replaced by silence, cold and endless. Then, faintly, he heard it. A soft sound. A voice. It was the same lullaby again. Ryan followed it through the snow until he reached the dome. The outer layer was fractured like broken glass, thin streams of blue light leaking through the cracks. He pressed his gloved hand to the surface. The ice felt warm. Then he saw movement inside. The child was there again, standing near his mother. His small body glowed faintly in the blue haze. The mother was still frozen, her face peaceful but filled with pain, as though her soul was fighting to wake. The child looked up and saw Ryan. His glowing eyes softened, no longer afraid. "Human," the boy said softly, his voice echoing strangely through the ice. Ryan crouched down. "You're safe now. I was worried about you." The boy blinked. "You should not be here. The cold is dangerous for your kind." Ryan gave a small smile. "I think that's true for most places I go." The boy tilted his head, trying to understand humor. Then his expression turned serious again. "She's waking. But she doesn't know if you are friend or enemy." Ryan nodded slowly. "Tell her I'm a friend. I want to help you both." The boy shook his head. "She cannot hear words yet. Only hearts." Before Ryan could reply, the dome pulsed with energy. Blue light spread outward, and the temperature around him dropped instantly. Ice formed along his helmet and gloves. The boy looked frightened. "She's trying to protect me from you. She thinks you will take me away." Ryan backed up a few steps. "No. I'm not here to hurt you." But the air began to shimmer. The ice cracked louder. The mother's body twitched again, not weakly this time, but strong, powerful. Her hand moved, then her head turned slightly, her eyes opening halfway. Two glowing blue eyes stared out from the ice. Ryan froze. The look in her eyes was not human, ancient, endless, and full of emotion too deep to describe. She was awake. "Myra," Ryan whispered into his comms, hoping she could hear. "She's moving. The mother is waking up." But the signal was dead. The boy stepped closer to the ice. "Mother, please. He's not bad." The woman's expression softened slightly, but then the dome cracked violently. Blue light exploded from the center, throwing Ryan back into the snow. He rolled, gasping for air as his suit alarms blared. When the light faded, the dome was gone. Only the icy mist remained. And she stood there, alive. The alien mother's form shimmered like crystal, her skin glowing faintly beneath the frozen air. Her eyes burned bright blue, and her hair flowed as if caught in invisible water. Ryan could only stare. She looked both terrifying and beautiful, like a goddess carved from starlight. The boy ran to her. "Mother!" She knelt and wrapped him in her arms, holding him tightly. A soft light surrounded them both, melting the snow around their feet. Ryan watched silently. There was something sacred about the moment. A reunion that had waited centuries. But the peace didn't last. The mother looked up, straight at Ryan. Her eyes glowed brighter, and the air around him trembled. He raised his hands slowly. "It's okay. I'm not your enemy." Her voice came, low and distant, like an echo from deep water. "You touched my child." Ryan swallowed. "Yes. I was trying to help. He was alone. He was afraid." Her gaze didn't soften. "Many before you said the same." The ground under Ryan's feet cracked. Frost climbed up his boots, spreading fast. His body temperature dropped. He winced. "Please, listen. I'm not here to hurt you." The boy tugged at her arm. "Mother, stop. His kind." She looked down at her child, then back at Ryan. Her expression changed. Confusion. Sadness. A flicker of recognition. Your warmth, she whispered, stepping closer. It melted the seal. Ryan shivered. What seal? She looked around, scanning the white wasteland. The ice was not only my prison, it was the world's protection. You broke it when you came. Ryan's heart sank. Protection from what? Before she could answer, the ground trembled again, deeper this time, like something massive shifting far below. Myra's voice finally crackled through his radio. Captain, the planet's energy readings are off the charts. Whatever's under you, it's waking up. The mother's eyes turned toward the horizon. Her voice was soft but filled with fear. They are coming. Ryan frowned. Who? She didn't answer. She lifted her hand instead. A wave of light rippled through the snow, spreading miles across the ice. Strange symbols began to glow on the ground, ancient markings Ryan had never seen before. The boy clung to her tightly. Mother, I'm scared. She whispered something in her own language, her voice trembling. Ryan tried to step closer, but the air around her shimmered again. It was warm now, not cold, like standing near a sunbeam in the middle of winter. The child looked at Ryan with teary eyes. She says, she doesn't know if she can trust you. But she wants to. Ryan took off one of his gloves and pressed his bare hand to his chest. Tell her. I promise I'll protect you both. I won't let anyone hurt you. The mother's gaze softened. The storm began to calm. For a moment, there was only peace again, fragile, beautiful peace. Then the planet roared. A massive explosion of light erupted in the distance. The sky tore open with energy, sending shockwaves through the snow. Ryan fell to his knees. Myra shouted through the radio, Captain! Something huge just broke free from beneath the surface. Get out of there now. Ryan looked up. The mother's eyes were glowing brighter than ever. She raised her hand toward the distant light. They have awakened, she whispered. Who? Ryan shouted over the wind. Her answer came soft but heavy, filled with sorrow. The ones who destroyed my world. The light in the distance grew stronger, and this time, it wasn't blue. It was red. Ryan's heart pounded. He looked at her and the child standing in the glowing snow, framed by the storm and fire. The warmth that had melted the ice was now about to face something far colder, the coming darkness of war. The ground kept shaking. The red light on the horizon grew larger, spreading through the sky like fire. The wind screamed across the ice fields, throwing snow and dust into the air. It felt like the planet itself was waking up in pain. Captain Ryan struggled to stay on his feet. His visor flashed constant warnings, radiation spikes, seismic activity, power failure. Myra, he shouted over the comms. What's going on? Her voice cracked through the static. Massive energy surge. Something's breaking through the crust. You need to evacuate now. But Ryan didn't move. He couldn't take his eyes off the alien mother standing before him. She was glowing brighter than before, her entire body surrounded by blue light. The child clung to her leg, terrified, while she stared at the red storm in the distance with hatred and fear mixed together. Ryan shouted, What is that? What's coming? Her voice was calm but full of sorrow. The destroyers. The reason my people died. I froze myself and my child to escape them. But now, they have found us again. Ryan's heart pounded. Then we need to run. Before he could finish, the ground split open near them. A pillar of red fire shot upward, cracking the ice wide open. From deep below, a dark, metallic shape began to rise, something mechanical, enormous, alive. Myra's panicked voice echoed through his headset. Captain! I'm detecting movement under the planet's surface. Multiple entities, they are huge. Ryan turned toward the mother. We have to leave. Come with me. But she didn't move. Her eyes stayed locked on the sky, her voice distant. If they are awake, there is nowhere to run. Then, suddenly, her glow changed, from soft blue to sharp white. The ground around her cracked with light. Her energy pulsed outward, knocking Ryan backward. He landed hard, sliding across the ice. His body screamed with pain. When he looked up, He couldn't believe what he saw. The alien mother was levitating above the ground, surrounded by swirling blue mist. Her eyes burned brighter than stars. Energy waves pulsed from her body, distorting the air like heat. "Stop!" Ryan shouted. "You'll kill yourself." But she didn't hear him. The child screamed, "Mother! Stop! You're hurting." Her voice echoed across the frozen valley, filled with both anger and despair. "They took everything from me. My home. My family. I will not let them take you too." She spread her arms wide. Blue energy erupted from her, forming a massive protective dome around herself and the child. The red light that had been advancing suddenly collided with it, sending shockwaves through the air. Ryan shielded his face. The collision was deafening, light and sound merging into one violent flash. When it faded, the red energy had stopped, for now. The mother slowly lowered to the ground, breathing heavily. Her glow dimmed, but her eyes were still fierce. Ryan took a careful step forward. "You protected him. You stopped it. But you can't do this alone. Let me help." Her gaze snapped to him. "Help? Your kind brings death wherever you go. You woke the curse of this world." Ryan froze. "I didn't know. We thought we were exploring an empty planet." "You woke us," she said, voice trembling with emotion. "And now they will come for him again. They never stop." She lifted her hand, and the air around Ryan grew cold, painfully cold. Frost formed instantly on his armor. His legs locked in place as ice spread over his boots. "Please," he gasped. "Listen to me. I didn't mean harm." The child pulled at her arm. "Mother, stop. He's not like them." But the ice kept crawling up Ryan's body. His hands went numb, his breath shallow. His vision blurred. Through the freezing pain, he managed to whisper, "If I wanted to hurt him, I already could have." That made her pause. The glow in her eyes softened slightly. The frost stopped spreading. For the first time, her expression changed, confusion. The child looked up at her, tears in his glowing eyes. "He found me when I was lost. He saved me." The mother looked down at Ryan again, her voice breaking. "Why would you risk your life for a child not your own?" Ryan's lips trembled from the cold. "Because a mother's love deserves a second chance." Her eyes widened. Something in those words hit her deeply, an echo of her own sacrifice. She had once said those same words before freezing herself, "For my child, I will give every chance I have." The ice around Ryan cracked. The cold faded. Warm light replaced it, soft and golden, spreading gently across the snow. Her hand lowered. The frost melted away. Ryan fell to his knees, breathing hard. The child ran to him. "Are you hurt?" He gave a weak smile. "I'll live." The mother knelt beside them, her glow now calm and warm. "I misjudged you, human. You have warmth, rare among your kind." Ryan looked at her, still shivering. "You're right. Most of us don't understand what we have until it's gone." The child looked between them, confused but hopeful. For the first time, he smiled. Then the ground rumbled again, louder than before. The red light in the distance began to move toward them once more, splitting into multiple streams. Myra's voice returned through the static. "Captain, more signatures incoming. 5, no, 7 objects moving fast. You need to leave, now." Ryan turned to the mother. "We can't stay here. My ship is close. We can get to orbit." She hesitated, looking toward the storm. "They will follow. They always do." He met her eyes. "Then we'll fight. Together." For the first time, she looked at him not as a threat, but as an ally. She nodded slowly. The blue light around her shifted again, calmer, but strong. "Very well, human. But if you betray us..." Ryan finished for her with a small grin. "You'll turn me into an ice cube. Got it?" The child laughed quietly, the first sound of innocence since the planet awoke. The mother glanced down at her son, then back at Ryan. "Your warmth, it melts more than ice." But the brief peace was broken when a new sound filled the air, a deep metallic roar from the sky. Ryan looked up. Through the clouds, dark shapes began to descend, red lights blinking like eyes. Machines. The destroyers had arrived. The mother stood tall, her eyes glowing once again, but this time with determination. "The past has returned," she said. "Now we see if your warmth can survive the fire." The sky burned red. Dark shapes fell from the clouds like monsters made of metal and fire. The air shook with thunder as the destroyers descended. Captain Ryan grabbed the child's hand and pulled him toward a nearby ridge. The mother followed close behind, her eyes glowing with fierce light. "Myra!" Ryan shouted into his comms. "We need an extraction now." Static. Then her voice broke through. "Trying to get a signal, Captain. Those things are jamming communications." The mother stopped suddenly. "They are searching for him," she said, looking at her son. "They can feel his energy. He carries what they fear, and what they want." Ryan frowned. "What do they want?" Before she could answer, the ground shook violently. One of the machines landed nearby, smashing through the ice. It stood 3 stories tall, its body a blend of metal and flesh, glowing with red veins. The creature turned its head. Red light scanned across the frozen field until it locked on them. Ryan raised his plasma rifle, but the mother stepped in front of him. "Stay behind me," she said softly. Her voice carried no anger now, only strength. The machine fired a blast of red energy. The explosion hit her directly, but instead of falling, she lifted her arm and absorbed the blast. The blue glow around her turned white-hot, and a shockwave rippled outward, freezing the air itself. When the light faded, the machine was gone, frozen solid, shattered into 1,000 pieces. Ryan stared in awe. You destroyed it with one hit." Her eyes dimmed, and her voice trembled slightly. "Each time I use my power, my life burns faster." The child looked up at her, tears in his glowing eyes. "Mother, please stop." Ryan stepped closer. "There has to be another way. Maybe we can." But before he could finish, the mother's body faltered. She stumbled, collapsing to one knee. Her glow flickered like a dying star. Ryan caught her before she fell completely. "Hey! Stay with me." The moment he touched her, everything around him changed. The world faded. The storm disappeared. The cold was gone. He was somewhere else, standing in a field of golden light. "Myra," he called out, but there was no answer. Instead, he saw her, the alien mother, standing in front of a vast, shining city. Towers of crystal reached into the sky, glowing softly. The air was warm, peaceful, full of life. Ryan realized he was inside her memory. He watched as she smiled, holding her child, smaller, younger, laughing. Her people moved gracefully through the city, their silver skin reflecting light like stars. Then the sky darkened. The ground shook. The sound of engines filled the air, deep, metallic, monstrous. The destroyers came. Giant ships descended, red and black, pouring fire over the city. The air filled with screams. The crystal towers shattered one by one. Ryan's heart pounded. He turned to see the mother running through the chaos, clutching her son. Behind her, other families tried to flee, but none escaped. The destroyers hunted without mercy. She reached a hidden chamber deep below the city. There, a glowing pod waited, shaped like the dome Ryan had found under the ice. Her voice echoed softly in the memory. "If I cannot save the world, I will save him." She placed her child inside the pod. The boy cried and reached for her. "Mother, don't leave me." She smiled through her tears. "You won't be alone. My heart will be with you, even if frozen in time." Then she stepped into the pod beside him. The doors closed. Blue light filled the chamber. Outside, the world burned. Ryan felt the weight of her sacrifice. She had chosen to freeze herself, to stop time, so her child might live. As the memory faded, her final thought echoed through his mind. If they ever wake, let them find warmth. The golden light vanished. Ryan gasped, back in the present. The storm was raging again. He was kneeling beside her, his hands still holding hers. The glow around her flickered weakly. The child was crying, clutching her arm. "Mother, please wake up." Ryan's voice was firm but gentle. "She's not gone. She's still fighting." He looked at her pale face. "You froze yourself to save him, and now you're burning your life to save us again." Her lips moved faintly. "You saw?" "Yes," Ryan said. "I saw everything." Her eyes opened slowly. "Then you know why I cannot stop." Ryan shook his head. "No. Not again. You don't have to die to save him. Let me help." She looked confused. "Why would you care for one not your own kind?" Ryan smiled weakly. "Because, maybe I've been cold for too long. Maybe your warmth woke something in me too." Her eyes softened. For the first time, she didn't look like an alien. She looked like a mother, tired but full of love. The ground trembled again. The red lights of the destroyers grew closer, dozens of them cutting through the storm. Myra's voice came through the comm, urgent and terrified. "Captain! They're surrounding your position. I can't reach you." Ryan looked at the mother. "Can you move?" She nodded weakly. "Yes, but not far." He helped her stand, the child between them. The ice cracked beneath their feet. The sky thundered. The mother placed a glowing hand on Ryan's chest. "You carry the warmth she spoke of." Ryan frowned. "She." Her voice was soft. "My mother said it long ago. One day, warmth would come from the stars, and it would save what we left behind." Ryan looked toward the dark sky where the red lights drew closer. "Then let's make sure your mother was right." The child looked up, eyes wide and shining. "Are you going to protect us?" Ryan smiled. "With everything I've got." The mother's glow brightened again, stronger now, steadier. "Then we fight together." Above them, the red ships opened their claws, ready to strike. The ground split apart, glowing with molten light. Ryan gripped his rifle. The mother raised her arms. The child held both their hands. And together, human, mother, and child, they faced the fire. The sky burned crimson. Flames tore across the frozen plains as the destroyers descended. Their shadows stretched over the ice like claws reaching for prey. Captain Ryan stood beside the alien mother and her child. The roar of engines filled the air. He could feel the ground shaking beneath his boots. "We can't win this with weapons," Ryan said. "We'll have to think differently." The mother's glowing eyes scanned the horizon. "They do not stop. They do not feel. They do not think. They only destroy what carries warmth." Ryan looked at her sharply. "Then that's what they're afraid of, warmth." She frowned, unsure. "You speak as if emotion is power." Ryan nodded slowly. "Maybe it is." The destroyers spread out in formation. Each one hummed with deadly red energy. The largest of them, a monstrous ship, black as the void, hovered above, charging its main cannon. Myra's voice screamed through Ryan's comms, "Captain! That's not just a ship, it's a command vessel. If it fires, the entire area will collapse." Ryan gritted his teeth. "We end it before it fires." The mother turned to him, her glow trembling. "End it. You cannot destroy what is endless." "Then we make it stop," Ryan said. "Even for a moment." The child clutched his mother's hand tightly. "He's not afraid, mother." She looked at Ryan, truly looked at him, and saw something she hadn't seen in ages, hope. The wind howled around them. Snow whipped through the air. Ryan took a deep breath and looked up at the red ship hovering above. "Myra," he said, "if you can hear me, charge the ship's pulse drive. We might need a miracle." Static replied, but then Myra's voice broke through faintly. "Copy that, Captain. Powering up. But you'll need to buy time." Ryan turned to the mother. "We need to distract them. Can you still use your energy?" She hesitated. "Each time I use it, my life fades faster. But for him," she looked at her son, "I will give everything." Ryan shook his head. "Not everything. Just enough." He placed his hand over hers, and for the first time, she didn't pull away. Her skin felt like cold light, but something strange happened when their hands met. The air around them shimmered. The blue glow of her body mixed with the faint golden hue from Ryan's touch. A soft warmth spread through the air, melting the ice beneath their feet. The mother gasped. What is this? Ryan smiled faintly. It's what you've been missing, a heart that still believes. She looked down at their joined hands, her expression softening. The warmth grew brighter, and for a brief moment, the storm around them slowed. Then, the first destroyer fired. A red beam sliced through the air. Ryan dove, pulling her and the child behind a frozen ridge. The blast exploded above them, raining shards of molten ice. Ryan's visor cracked, alarms flashing red. We need to move. The mother stood, lifting her hand. No. We stand. Her glow flared, brighter than ever before, but this time it wasn't just cold light. It carried warmth, golden and blue mixed together. The snow melted around her feet as the light spread across the ground. The destroyers paused, their senses confused by the sudden energy shift. Ryan looked up in awe. You're changing the field. They don't understand your signal anymore. She smiled faintly. It is not my signal. It is ours. The child's small hands glowed too, his light matching hers, and Ryan's heart pounded as he realized what was happening. Their energies were synchronizing. Human warmth was merging with alien light. The three of them stood together, surrounded by a storm of gold and blue. Then the mother whispered, "Watch." She raised both hands, and the energy erupted outward in a massive wave. It didn't destroy, it transformed. The red clouds above began to fade. The nearest destroyer, a towering machine of hate and metal, froze midair, its lights flickering. Its red glow shifted to white, then faded completely. The machine fell to the ground, lifeless. Ryan's jaw tightened. You stopped it, without killing. Her voice was calm but amazed. Warmth can silence destruction. He looked at her, his breath trembling. Then we use that, we use your light, my heat, and his heart. The child squeezed both their hands. Together. The three of them stepped forward, facing the giant command ship. Its cannon charged, glowing like a miniature sun. Myra's voice shouted through the static, "Captain, power at 90%. You've got one chance." Ryan raised his rifle. "Ready." The mother nodded. "Always." She extended her hands to the sky. The blue and gold light swirled upward, forming a massive spiral of energy. Ryan aimed through it, his visor focusing the beam. The child closed his eyes, whispering softly in his alien tongue. The cannon fired. Time seemed to stop. Red and gold light collided midair, twisting together like storm clouds meeting the sun. The explosion was silent at first, then a wave of warmth swept across the land, melting the frozen plains. The red ship cracked open, its dark hull glowing white-hot before breaking apart. Ryan fell to one knee, his vision fading. Did we do it? The mother knelt beside him, her glow soft now, almost human. You gave what I could not, hope. He tried to smile. Guess we make a good team. She touched his face gently. You carry something my people lost long ago. A heart that believes even when the universe turns cold. The child hugged them both, whispering, You saved us. The storm around them began to clear. For the first time in ages, real sunlight broke through the clouds, pure, warm, and golden. But Ryan's suit alarms were still blaring. His oxygen levels were dropping. The heat had damaged his systems. The mother noticed and placed her hand over his chest again. You gave your warmth to us. Let me give it back. A gentle blue light spread from her hand, flowing into his body. His breathing steadied. The alarms faded. Ryan opened his eyes slowly. You saved me again. She smiled softly. You saved me first. The child laughed, a sound like music, and for a moment, everything was peaceful. But deep beneath the ice, something stirred. A faint red pulse echoed from the cracks, slow but growing stronger. The mother turned toward it, her expression darkening. It is not over. Ryan frowned. You mean? She nodded. That was not their leader. The true one still sleeps. The light faded from the horizon, replaced again by cold shadows. Ryan stood slowly, gripping his rifle. Then we finish what we started. The mother looked at him with quiet strength. Together. And as the last of the sunlight faded, the three of them walked toward the heart of the storm, where the final battle waited. The silence after the battle was unreal. The wind had stopped. The fire in the sky was gone. Only the low hum of melting ice filled the air. Captain Ryan stood beside the alien mother and her child, both glowing softly in the dim light. The warmth that had saved them still lingered, wrapping the cold world in a fragile calm. For the first time since he landed, Ryan almost believed it was over. But then the ground began to tremble again. A deep, slow vibration, steady and growing stronger. The mother's eyes narrowed. It begins. Ryan turned to her. What begins? Her voice was heavy, like stone breaking. The true one, the source of their hate. The first destroyer. Before Ryan could respond, the ice beneath them cracked open. A bright red light shot upward, blinding them. The child screamed as Ryan pulled him close, shielding his face from the heat. From deep below, a sound rumbled, not mechanical, not alive, but something in between. It was like a heart beating inside the planet. Boom, boom, boom. Each pulse made the air vibrate. The cracks in the ice spread like veins of fire. Then, slowly, a shadow began to rise from the depths. It was enormous, larger than the other destroyers combined. Its body was shaped like a humanoid figure, but built of living metal and molten core. Its head turned slowly, glowing eyes opening like suns. Ryan whispered, That's not a machine." The mother's voice trembled. "No. It was once one of us." Ryan looked at her, shocked. "One of your kind." She nodded. "Long ago, before the fall. He was our guardian. The strongest of us all. But he lost his heart, he gave it to the void. And the void made him this." The creature lifted its hand. Every remaining destroyer in the sky turned toward them at once. The red lights in their cores brightened, pulsing in time with their masters. Ryan's comms hissed. Myra's voice came through, panicked. "Captain, energy readings are off the scale. That thing could vaporize the entire planet." Ryan looked at the mother. "Can you stop him?" She shook her head slowly. "I tried once. I failed. That's why I froze myself. To keep my son hidden from him." Ryan clenched his fists. "Then we finish what you started." The mother looked at him with sadness. To fight him is to face despair. His energy feeds on fear. The more you resist, the stronger he becomes. Ryan's jaw tightened. "Then we give him something he can't feed on, hope." She stared at him, a human, fragile and mortal, yet speaking with a courage her people had long forgotten. The ground shook again. The creature's chest opened, revealing a glowing red core the size of a city. It pulsed like a dark star. The mother grabbed her child and turned to Ryan. "If we fail, he will not just destroy this world. He will follow your kind. He will burn your home." Ryan looked at her calmly. "Then he'll have to go through me first." He pressed a button on his wrist. His armor plates shifted, releasing the last reserves of his ship's energy into his suit. His visor flickered with a golden hue. Myra's voice screamed through the static. "Captain, you're overloading the core. You'll cook yourself alive." Ryan smiled faintly. "Just keep the channel open, Myra. If this works, you'll see a sunrise you'll never forget." The mother stepped beside him, her light glowing brighter. The child stood between them, holding their hands tightly. "You are brave," the mother said softly. "But bravery alone cannot stop him." Ryan nodded. "Then we add faith." The creature roared. The sound was so deep it shook the clouds. A wave of red energy shot out, vaporizing mountains in the distance. The shockwave hit them like thunder, knocking Ryan off balance. He got up, blood running down his face, armor cracked. But he didn't stop. He looked at the mother. "You said his power feeds on fear, right?" She nodded. Ryan smiled through the pain. "Then let's give him love instead." The mother stared at him, truly seeing him this time, and something inside her changed. Her light turned pure white. The air around her shimmered, no longer freezing but radiant and alive. The child's eyes glowed golden, reflecting both his mother's light and Ryan's human warmth. Together, they lifted their hands. The sky split open with light, blue, gold, and white merging into a single brilliant beam that shot straight into the clouds. The destroyers froze mid-air. Their red lights flickered. The giant creature looked down, confused, as if it couldn't understand what it was feeling. For the first time, it hesitated. Ryan shouted, "Now, while it's weak." The mother focused her power, directing the beam toward the creature's chest. The red light cracked, the molten armor peeling away. But the effort drained her fast, her glow dimmed, her knees trembling. Ryan ran to her, grabbing her arm. "Stay with me. We're almost there." Her eyes filled with tears. "I cannot hold it much longer. My body burns." He tightened his grip. "Then let me carry the rest." He placed his hands over hers again. The same warmth from before surged between them, stronger now, wild and pure. The beam intensified, piercing straight through the creature's chest. The destroyer screamed, its voice echoing across the planet. Its body convulsed, breaking apart piece by piece. The red core shattered, and for one silent moment, everything stopped. Then a wave of golden light exploded outward, washing over the frozen world. The red sky vanished, replaced by clear blue. The storm was gone. The destroyers fell lifelessly to the ground. Ryan collapsed to his knees, exhausted but alive. He turned to look for the mother, and froze. She was lying on the ground, her glow fading fast. "No." Ryan crawled to her side, shaking her gently. "Stay with me. Don't you dare go now." Her eyes opened weakly. The light needed life to live. He shook his head. "You don't have to die. Not after everything." She smiled faintly. "I was never meant to last forever. But my child will." The boy sobbed, clutching her hand. "Mother, please." She touched his face softly. "You will see stars I never could." Then she looked at Ryan. "Thank you, for giving me something I thought was lost." "What?" Ryan whispered. "Heart." Her hand slipped from his, falling into the snow. Her body glowed once more, then turned into thousands of tiny blue lights, floating gently into the air. Ryan sat there silently, watching them drift upward until they disappeared into the sky. The child looked up, tears glowing in his eyes. "She's gone." Ryan placed a hand on his shoulder. "No. She's part of the light now." The boy looked at him. "Then, what happens to us?" Ryan looked toward the horizon, where the storm had cleared completely. The sky was calm. The sun was rising. He smiled faintly. "Now, we start again."